India's services sector moderated in March, albeit registering a slower expansion. The sector's Purchasing Managers Index PMI fell to a 57.8 from February's 12-month high of 59.4, according to data released by S&P Global. With March's reading, India's services PMI has now been above the key level of 50 for 20 months consecutively. Remember, a reading above 50 on the PMI index indicates expansion in business activity, while one below it signals contraction. Earlier this week, S&P Global also released the manufacturing sector's PMI for the month of March, which stood at 56.4, a three-month high. This was also the 21st consecutive 50-plus print for India's manufacturing PMI. With me at this point in time is Sunil Kumar Sinha, who's an economist. Also with me is Suyash in the newsroom. Suyash, how are we reading these numbers?
So Shweta, as you just mentioned, the services activity has moderated from 12 years, and I think Sunil will help us understand that better, why the moderation was there. We need to understand that the expansion in the services sector is still above its long run average, which is about 53 points now. So, and as you just mentioned, the service sector has expanded for 20 straight months. The manufacturing sector has expanded for 21 straight months. So again, looking at the bigger picture, it suggests sustained expansion in both manufacturing and the services sector. And also, the services sector had been the main driver of growth in the last quarter of 2023. And now we are seeing the manufacturing activity, which has picked up, and it's at a three-month high, right? So it has retaken that mantle of being the main driver of growth now.
Okay, so there is an expansion both in manufacturing, as we can see, and in services. Run us through the numbers once again and tell us how good are they looking? Are they looking good at all? Because we know there's been a slight moderation in expansion as far as services is concerned.
Yeah, so there is a slight moderation as far as the services sector activity is concerned. So again, we need to remember, in February, we were at a 12-year high, right? So we can expect some ease in the pace of expansion there. At least in March, we have seen that. But again, the big thing is that the manufacturing activity has picked up, and it's now at a a three-month high, right? And if we look at it, for 20 straight months, we have seen expansion in the services sector. For 21 straight months, we have seen expansion in the manufacturing activity. So I don't think there is need for us to worry about the macroeconomic positioning of India.
Okay, what do these numbers tell us in broad parameters?
So, the the services index is calculated basically on 5 major components: the business order, the output, employment, suppliers delivery time, and inventory levels. And as you just had mentioned, again, a reading of 50, above 50 suggests expansion in the activity, and a reading below 50 suggests contraction in the activity, both at manufacturing and service level.
Okay, we are about to get Sunil in, I think, a couple of minutes from now, but let me quickly repeat what we are getting at this point in time. Services sector has contracted very, very marginally, we are given to understand. It was at 59.4, it is now at 57.8 for the month of March. So there is a slight contraction there. The March's reading have been above the 50 level, the level of 50, which indicates that there is a constant expansion in business activity. Remember, anything below 50 means there is a contraction. Now, as far as manufacturing PMI is concerned, for the month of March, it stood at 56.4, which is a three-month high. Now, remember, this is the 21st consecutive 50-plus print for India's manufacturing PMI. So, good news there as far as manufacturing and services in India is concerned.
Definitely. At this point, I would also like to mention that we are outperforming the global economies as well. So, at both services and manufacturing level, right? So, but there is a bit of a discrepancy there. The macro numbers are suggesting that, India is outperforming the global economies, yet the India stock market has given negative returns this year, whereas other markets, in some cases, they are up about 6 to 12%. So it's very interesting to see that discrepancy. Now, Indian market was an outperformer for the last 2 to 3 years. So maybe there is some moderation in returns in that regard, but again, the numbers at the macroeconomic level suggest that India is doing pretty well, yet the stock market is not really reflecting that sentiment.
Okay, interesting take there. India doing really well when it comes to macro numbers. We of course continue to track that very important story on various parameters, from consumption to manufacturing to services. India seems to be doing really well, and we're waiting of course for that to reflect in the Indian stock market.